It takes a lot of courage, regulation, and maturity to deal with conflict well. Um, I've been I've been experiencing conflict a lot um, as I've been reconnecting with my family, right? And then it's it's helped me expand my understanding and perception of what conflict is, because I think conflict for a lot of people means disagreement. It means upset. It means violent communication. It means fighting. It means abandonment because people be leaving. It means broken connections, right? And that's a lot of connotation things. Because for me, the definition of conflict, um, those are like, I feel like a conflict handled poorly, right? Conflict for me is, I guess, disagreement would be the closest term that I would define it as, but I see it as a difference of needs. The example I always use is like, if a child as a young person, as a new fresh being in the planet, and they're exploring, they're curious, their need is to explore, right? To learn, to develop autonomy, to develop independence, to question and interact with the world around them. That is their main objective, to grow. And parents' main objective is to protect, right? Is to protect, is to nurture, is to make sure that this being stays alive. Stays alive, is safe, and a lot of the times is continuing, the family legacy or values. And obviously those can come into conflict. If I need to explore and you need to protect me, we're gonna run into a lot of issues. And I feel like I've been reflecting a lot on what I wish I had learned in school for real. And one thing I wish I had learned were conflict resolution skills, conflict resolution skills. And schools for that would be great, but just like learning that in school, because conflict is inevitable. Conflict is what's going to happen. Just it sucks to think that this is morbid. Like people are like, "Whoa, you're gonna put a downer on the mood," but we're all gonna die. Like that's a universal fact. There's nobody who can avoid that. I feel like conflict is the same thing. You can't live a life where you're not in conflict with anything. So expanding our understanding of conflict and how to deal with it feels like the only route that would make the most sense. What I've been experiencing or witnessing, so an experience that, yeah, something that I've been witnessing. Coming home, I'm at my mom's house, and it is a beautiful, beautiful home. She's just recently bought a home, and I'm so proud of her. And we've also been experiencing conflict because I've been away for so long. I'm traveling with somebody, and so like the dynamics around that, setting boundaries, being clear about what it is that we want, how we want to connect, all that. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the one that I came into first is my brother is turning 11, which is wild. And he is really into video games, super into Fortnite, as I feel like a lot of kids are. I have a lot of feelings about that. We're going to talk about that as a whole separate video. But it's been interesting to see how my mom is trying to navigate him not playing games. And like, I don't know, if I'm engaged in something and then you take it away or you ask me to come off it, I'm expecting, as a young person, as a child, to then be engaged in something else, because again, I have the need to explore, to grow, to engage, right? And a lot of the time I'm looking at adults, I feel like, especially with this era with our phones, there's not always time spent with kids. So then the kids are also on screen spending time with however they want to spend their time. So if you take them off and then you're not also doing something with them or providing an activity or something to do or something for them to engage with, it's just harder to sell that point. Come off the game and just sit here or figure out what you're going to do. I mean, if this is the only way I've thought of engaging my time, I think I need support in how to think, like how to do new things, right? What else to do besides watching a screen. Um, and it's been cool being here, being able to support and like observe, right? And share what I've noticed. And then also to engage him, right? Like we read a book together and that was fun. Because it's Junie B. Jones, who's my favorite. These are my books from when I was younger. So it's like fun to read with him. Um, And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like conflict can be handled in very different ways. It doesn't have to be so ugly and tense. And so sharing my experience with my mom, we've had a tense relationship. I feel like I've mentioned it on my channel other times. Yeah, maybe I'll do a fuller, more cohesive story of that. But recently, coming like the general story with my mom is we were really close growing up, single mom, so it was just me and her. And then when I was 17, she had my brother. Yeah, 17. Yeah, he was born in 2011. Or so maybe 16, turning 17. Um, and then the person that she chose to be in relationship with, uh it was a really disruptive relationship in a lot of things. So first of all, we're going from single parent household, just me and her, to now there's another person here, this adult man, and then there's a baby man, a little boy, and just changes the dynamic. And then for 7 years we were kind of disconnected because of that. I also went to college right when he was born, so it facilitated that. I was in Miami for a while, so we've been in disconnection for a while. But then we've also, and then we reconnected, and then we were disconnected again. Then we had some conflict, where I left the house. I was also kicked out of the house. So, we've had our ups and downs, is what I'm trying to say. And it's been for long periods of time, this disconnection, and I know that that's a generational curse in my family on both sides. Disconnection, like family members be not talking to each other for like years. Yeah, and really not, being in disconnection is a big theme that I've noticed in different generations of my family. Um, so it's been really powerful coming back here and having to talk to my mom face on about past things, right? Taking accountability for my actions in the past. Um, Addressing my behavior. And also, I don't know, with the shift of like conflict isn't about someone coming at you or trying to make you feel bad. Or I mean, when we both work on it, this is why I started the video saying it's important to have, it's, honesty. It is also vulnerability, but it's also regulation, courage, which is like just coming from your heart, honesty, and maturity and having conversations. Because to be able to say I feel like you are shaming me without taking the shame and running, and like I feel shamed and now I'm going to act shamed, because that's how, when you feel shamed, you feel bad. And so I don't know, for me at least, I remember just my emotions would rise, and then because I didn't know how to regulate how I was feeling, because yes, they said something that inspired shame in me, but I didn't hold it with curiosity and be like, I wasn't feeling this before. This interaction is making me feel like this. So, what is this shame? Is it because it applies and I feel sad? What do I think it means? What do I think they're saying to me right now? Are they saying that, am I thinking that they're saying I'm incompetent? Am I thinking that they're saying I'm too much? I'm not enough? I'm not worthy? Because then it helps me then convey that, right? Like I am responding to this. It makes me feel sad. I'm crying because I feel like you're saying that X, Y, and Z. And then it gives my mom an opportunity, right? Because she can also respond and be like, and she has in the past, that's not what we're saying. And then, right? That's a way to respond. But then also, when you're responding with regulation, when you can check in with yourself and maturity as well, you can be like, I hear that. I am not trying to shame you. That is not my intention, you know? And then, I don't know, conversations like that really do require a trust, and a vulnerability to hold each other like that, to be able to be honest and hold your paw, like just literally draw out the space between your reaction and your response. So, like, if somebody says something, like when my mom says something that like brings a feeling out, I'll like, be ready to say the thing and then just sit back and, just pause for a moment so I can think about what it is that I'm feeling and what it is that I want to say in response to this, to contribute into the space now, because now we're in a space, right? That's a dynamic that is even that you can feel the shift. So like, how do you want to add to it type of thing? So It's been, I don't know. I feel like if conflict is inevitable, I want to know how to deal with it. Um, and obviously there are studies now, right? There's work to do. There are resources on how to handle conflict. There's nonviolent communication. There is books about, there are books about regulating yourself. A lot of people are doing EFT tapping. There's a lot of people getting back into the body, and that's really beautiful. And I'm hoping we can apply all those tools of regulating ourselves and understanding our emotions to better navigate spaces with other people, because it's inevitable. We have to deal with other people. I think there's so much going on around keeping people separated, and there's so much separation and division and brokenness in the world and broken connections. And it's like, we have to learn how to have uncomfortable conversations. And yeah, that's what I got to say for today. So navigate your conflicts with confidence, with courage, but really with trust and vulnerability. I'll share more about this as I navigate through. Tonight I'm going to my dad's house to have conflict and conversations with him as well. I don't know. I wish we could hold conflict as well, I'm going to have a conflict, an opportunity to get to know someone better. It's kind of exciting. Like, I don't know. It's exciting to think about. I don't know. We're so used to things going a particular way, but to know that I've shifted in how I'm holding this thing. Like, you might be dreading disagreement and conflict, and oh no, it's gonna be ugly. And I'm here, like, I'm so excited to hold us in this, to get to the bottom of this. It's a really cool trust.